America. Welcome to Jack Diffley Live. I'm your host, Daniel Fernandez. For those of you who don't know, a couple of years ago, archaeologists were able to completely resurrect ancient Rome. We don't want to really mess with it because it would rewrite history as we know it. But there are exceptions to this rule. So without further ado, here is Augustus Caesar.
Thanks, Dan.
So, the last time we had you on the show, we witnessed the live killing of your adopted father's assassins. Let's roll the clip.
3, 2, 1.
You seem like a very strong man. How did you manage to destroy Mark Antony and take over Rome?
First off, Antony used to be one of my best friends. We formed the Second Triumvirate along with Oedipus. We accomplished a lot, even killing some of my father's assassins, like you saw in the video. Then Antony and I decided to push Oedipus off the side and gain more power. We started conflicting, so Antony decided to ditch me and ally with Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt. I found that he was going to give his land to her, so I lied to everyone and told them that Antony was planning to give away his Roman territory. It actually turns out it was true when I read his will, so it wasn't much of a lie. At the Battle of Actium in Greece, I smashed Antony and forced him to flee to Egypt, where they committed suicide a year later.
So, a lot has changed since then. First off, why did you change your name?
Actually, the Senate gave me the title. It means the revered one. After all, I set a precedent for all emperors after me because I created a restoration of the Republic.
So, how did you change the government?
Well, I'm the princeps, so that means I'm the first citizen of the state. The only two branches in our government are the princeps and the aristocratic Senate. I was granted maius imperium, which means I have greater imperium than others. The consulship, well, it's now gone. I have the power of the tribune and the majority of the Senate. I basically had permanent government supervision. My hired officials are very well trained, and some even have far superior skills than my own, in some areas.
Very interesting. Why don't you tell me about the Pax Romana now?
So after I finished off Mark Antony, I created internal peace for the past 30 years or so. Before I came to rule, there were assassinations, riots, coups d'etats, you name it. I created order out of chaos, and now the people love me.
Yes, we can see that. You are very popular. Let's step away from politics for a moment and talk about the military. To start off, how had the military changed since the past civil wars?
The army had increased immensely. We are now very professional, with legionaries who serve long periods of time. This is also how I maintain peace and stability in the empire by keeping domestic orders in the provinces. We have 28 legions of 5,400 troops and around 130,000 auxiliary troops. I also established the Praetorian Guard. These are my elite troops, whose sole purpose is to guard me. This is why I am a victorious imperator.
Impressive. How did you control the frontiers?
Well, I added more territory to the Roman Empire than any other Roman. In order to keep troops in more needy places, I established client kingdoms in the east. I conquered the Central and Maritime Alps and then expanded the territory of the Balkan Peninsula up to the Danube River. I then expanded into Germanic territories all the way to the Elbe River, and now we use the Rhine River as that frontier.
But wait, what about Arminius in the Teutoburg Forest?
Anyways, in some of the provinces, I assigned legates, or deputies, to govern them. We divided the provinces between the Senate and I, but I still could overrule their decisions.
Okay, moving on. How did the military expand Romanization?
The army played an important social role. Veteran troops spread the culture wherever they were stationed. The military camps became centers for the spread of Latin and Roman morals and conduct. Urban centers then developed around these camps. For example, you know the city of Cologne?
Why, yes, of course I do.
Well, that developed because of the military colony we call Colonia Equipenensis. The veterans who retired there established families and businesses and sort of, served to pass on Roman culture to the people in that province as well as others.
How did you help out the soldiers?
In the consulship of Marcus Oedipus and Lucius Arruntius, I transferred out of my own patrimony 170 million sesterces to the soldiers' bonus fund, which was established on my advice for the purpose of providing bonuses for my soldiers who had completed 20 or more years of service.
You seem like you were a great emperor. right from the start under your adopted father Julius. What impact did you have under his reign?
Well, at the age of 19, on my own initiative and expense, I raised an army by means of which I liberated the Republic, which was oppressed by the tyranny of a faction.
All right. We'll be back shortly after a word from our sponsor.
Are your slaves tired and worn out?
Are they just being lazy and just lying around?
Help, I've fallen and I can't get up!
Then get Letipus's whips to whip them back into shape.
So come on down to Marcus Letipus's custom whips, and you will become the master of your household.
And we're back. It seems you made a lot of changes in Rome. What were some of the other ones?
I believe that the civil strife during the 1st century caused a decrease in adherence to Roman religion. I consider this a huge part in making a strong nation, so I restored traditional priesthoods that had fallen in the Republic and instituted a new religious cult to strengthen the empire. This served as a unifying instrument for the Roman world. I permitted the construction of temples to my divine adopted father, Julius, and this became the foundation of the imperial cult. I did this in order to restore respectability to the upper classes and increase the birth rate, and adultery also became a criminal offense.
So I guess you are divine. How did you evolve this social structure of Rome?
I had accepted the Senate as a ruling class for the empire. One needed to possess property worth 1 million sesterces to belong to the senatorial order. I revised the senatorial list and reduced the number of senators as well as gained support from the majority of the government. The equestrian order was expanded and given a new share of power in the state. One had to own a property that valued at 400,000 sesterces. The equestrians could hold military and government offices, but those positions were lesser than the senatorial order's positions. At the end of his career, an equestrian might be promoted with a membership to the senatorial order.
How bad were the living conditions for the poor?
Well, the lower classes made up the majority of the free citizens. These included all those who were not in the senatorial order or the equestrians. The assemblies diminished and did not have the power they recently had in the Republic. The people were given free grain and public spectacles to keep them from creating disturbances. It was sometimes possible for them to move up into the equestrian order if they gained wealth and served as officials in the Roman legions.
Now, how were these public spectacles? Were they really as great as they sounded?
The public spectacles were one of the highest points in Roman society. Some of them were horse and chariot races, but the most famous of them were the gladiatorial shows. These took place in amphitheaters. These often came to be the biggest buildings in the entire city. Public slaughter then became an important part of our Roman culture. Most gladiators were slaves or condemned criminals who were trained in special combat schools. They were sent into the arena without weapons to face certain deaths from animals that would tear them apart. Along with this, many animal contests were held, such as bears against buffaloes or bears against other bears. If lucky, some gladiators were sent into the arena with weapons to fight these animals. An estimated 5,000 beasts were killed each day.
So they really were that great. Anyways, where have you established colonies?
I established colonies of soldiers in Africa, Sicily, Macedonia, and both Spanish provinces, in Achaia, Asia, Syria, Narbonese, Gaul, and Pisidia. Italy has 28 colonies established by me as well.
Fantastic. So this is going to be your 13th year in consulship. What are the people going to do about this?
Yes, they are giving me the title of Father of the Country and inscribing this title in the vestibule of my house, the Julian Senate House, and in the Augustan Forum on the pedestal of the chariot which was set up in my honor by decree of the Senate.
Country. It seems as if you were very popular with the Roman people, and you set a precedent for rulers to come. In my own personal opinion, I believe you are the greatest emperor that Rome has ever seen. And with that, Jack Diffley Live would like to present with you a token of our appreciation. And because I hate to spoil it to you, but your empire will become destroyed. So here you have it. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us today. We hope to see you next time when we discuss the controversy of Caligula's horse being consul. Have a great day, America.